Hello everyone, I'm Michael J. Steele. I'm running for United States Senate of North Dakota in 2022. I'm here today to thank everyone that got out and voted to make sure that we protect our democracy in America. We have proven that democracy is not dead, and 80 million people voted for Joe Biden. Thing is, I'm surprised at how many people voted for Donald Trump. That's very shocking that he got 60 million votes. I'm here today to tell you that I'm going to go to work for you in Washington, D.C. and help you get back on track with your lives, and hopefully we can create some jobs and get 48 million Americans the money that they so deserve right now by giving a second stimulus. Hopefully you won't have to wait that long till 2022 when I'm elected. Hopefully our congressmen will get that out to you as soon as possible. Right now, the American people are suffering. The sad thing is, Mitch McConnell, who's been at the head of the Senate right now for the last 4 years of this administration, has blocked over 500 bills that are here to help the American people. This $1,200 that we got as a stimulus only it was like putting a Band-Aid on the Titanic. Very minimal amount of money, and now the IRS is saying that we should tax that money, and if we get a second stimulus, they'd like to tax that money. While Canada's given their citizens $2,000 a month until this pandemic ends. And we have to sit here and just try to survive day to day with this COVID and with other problems that have escalated throughout the last 4 years with this Trump administration, such as deregulating our Environmental Protection Agency. Right now we have a golden opportunity to stop our fracking waters from going into oceans and going into public waterways and lakes. While we continue on to go to fight for those that are at our borders, such as our children, that are human beings that are put in dog cages that Trump's put in concentration camps. At least we have a president now, Joe Biden, that's going to go ahead and locate 575 kids with their families, if he can do it. We hope we can, but he's making an effort to do that. Moreover, we still have to continue on because we have a lot of work to do, but I'm so proud of the American people right now that have worked very hard to get democracy where it should be, in the White House. In our house, and we're hoping that we can get the Senate. Georgia right now is having a debate, and I guess one of the Republicans didn't show up tonight, and that debate with this Pardue should be the Republicans should be disqualified and kicked out, unless it was an emergency situation or something, which is understandable excuse. I would like to let you know that I've been there too. I've had relatives and friends I've lost because of COVID. I've had bad things. I've been unemployed. I went out and I started my own business because it was so hard after my work-related injury to get employed. And I also went to college and got an education that has afforded me the opportunity to go ahead and just start my own business, which I started 3 years ago. I sell art, antiques, and vintage collectibles. And I also been running my campaign for 2.5 years, and then I'm a full-time student. I'm working on another degree, and my degree is in international relations. I should be done with that shortly this year. I will be accessible when I'm in Washington, D.C., also when I'm back here in North Dakota. And I also would like to talk to the farmers and the military and all the citizens in North Dakota and our 53 counties. I will be trying to travel, so I need your support. I need people to go to my Act Blue site, which you can go to my donation page, Michael J. Steele for Senate 2022 at Act Blue. And there's a few more, but I would recommend Act Blue because they're the best one out there so far that's really helped out a lot of our Democratic candidates throughout the country. I need all our Democrats throughout the United States right now if they could chip in and help me out, because I got to pay for a lot of ads. If I can't have big rallies and stuff throughout North Dakota when I'm visiting with the constituents to let them know what my plan is for the next term in the Senate, I'll have to advertise. I need money for commercials, radio, television to combat the $1.6 million that John Hoeven has already raised 10 years ago in his war chest for his next campaign. And he's also going to be getting $50 million from special interests such as Big Oil and Big Pharma, which I'm getting money from donors from a grassroots level. And I get $20, $50, $100 donations, which is fantastic, and I appreciate all the donations that I've been receiving the last 2.5 years. I still need a lot more to go, because in this last year and a half in this election, I have to have a lot of money to compete just to get my message across. I have to hire a staff. I have to pay for food for my staff. Gas isn't cheap. I need some gasoline. I'm going to have banners, T-shirts, yard signs, your general campaign stuff to keep this machine going that I've built up in the last 2.5 years here in North Dakota to take back North Dakota. Turn North Dakota blue in 2022 is my goal. We have to keep this momentum going. We have to turn these red states blue again and maintain a majority in the House, Senate, and also the White House. I'm just so ecstatic that we did it. We proved democracy is still alive. We combated an authoritarian dictatorship and fascist government and let our democratic republic prevail. We also have many Republicans that are standing up now to the challenges against Donald Trump and his Nazi regime. And like I say, I need your assistance to protect our Social Security, our Medicaid, our Medicare, protect our veterans, our seniors, our children. Also, I believe we need some justice reform here in North Dakota to protect our children from pedophiles. We also have to have stricter standards, stronger guidelines that are going to keep our most vulnerable children and our vulnerable adults protected from predators that go to harm them. And we're going to have stricter penalties for those that offend in North Dakota that are pedophiles or are the criminal or of the criminal element in general, that sexual assault people, such as our women here in North Dakota. We're going to have a rapid response team that's also going to help women get out of bad situations. Some women don't want to call the local authorities because they don't want to stigmatize them as being a battered woman, or abused woman, or stranded woman. We're going to have create jobs and get these women in safety ASAP. We're going to have a rapid response team that will work in cohorts with the United States Senate to protect our Native American ladies, such as those that have been disappearing in Montana and in the upper Midwest here. We have to protect those ladies and get them to safety as soon as possible. We also have to reform our justice system here that's basically been letting some judges rule from the bench. We don't need these crazy judges anymore that are not following the laws or the Constitution. I'm here to uphold the laws and follow the Constitution. I will be accessible for you in the Congress. I also been there. I've had my share of problems like the rest of us. We're all going through problems. We've lost loved ones with this COVID-19. We've lost loved ones to just other tragedies, cancer. We've lost our loved ones, some by suicide. We have to give everybody a chance for their voices to be heard, so that we don't have any more tragedies in our life that we know we can stop. We also have to get people involved to look for warning signs through educational programs to help our veterans and our soldiers, our law enforcement officers that also are having a lot of suicidal thoughts, that have gone through PTSD. A lot of women that were raped, sexually abused, have gone through PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. We need to have some education. We have to show the American people that we have things right now that we can fix in our country, and we have to fix, and we also have to know that we have threats from outside the country that are trying to harm us. As our great leader George Washington said, that when you're America, we're going to be a country that's going to always have outside threats trying to take down our democracy and our republic. And that's why we have to protect our military soldiers and make sure they get the proper training they need to stop suicides, military suicides. We also have to let them know that we love them and we're here to help them. We have to have equal voting rights in North Dakota and also the rest of the United States. Our Native American brothers and sisters have to get the right to vote in North Dakota, and also our college students have to have the right to vote. It's only fair. We have many things right now that we're going to be working on, but I'm going to be accessible in Washington for you, the American people, and I'm also I want to hear from you. I want to know what you're feeling. I want you to text me, get a hold of me, send me letters. I got plenty of information online. It's Michael J. Steele for Senate 2022. I've been running this campaign for 2.5 years right now. I have 2 more years to go. The reason I've been running it for so long is because, like I say, I'm running a campaign from a grassroots level, from donors that don't have a lot of money, but they sure want change, and they sure want me to represent them in Washington. I get donations anywhere from $20, $40, $50, $100. I get a $5 donation, $10. I've been getting donations for 2.5 years, and all your money's been spent. I had a meet and greet where I had karaoke there. I had some dinner, a big dinner there. We did a pig roast, and we had a bunch of people show up to that. And I've printed up some t-shirts I've handed out. I've traveled throughout my state of North Dakota, and I need to continue to travel throughout our 53 counties here so I can get my message of protecting our elderly senior citizens, our Social Security system, Medicare, Medicaid. We have to protect these things that we work so hard for. Also, our voter equality, equal rights in North Dakota. We have so many things we worked on that have been almost stripped away, but now I just feel great. I can sleep good at night knowing that now we're a democracy again, and we're not under an authoritarian fascist regime. And Joe Biden's going to be our next leader with Kamala Harris. She's a former prosecutor, and Joe, he's been around for a long time, has a lot of experience, knows what works in government, knows what the American people need. He's traveled the country, he's been there, he's seen tragedy in his own life that he's had to overcome, and I just want to be like Joe, and I want to be like Byron Dorgan, Earl Pomeroy, Ken Conrad, the Democratic senators that were in North Dakota that actually decided to start taxing out-of-state companies such as Big Oil that were coming in here and taking profits out of North Dakota and putting them in other states and actually other countries. I want to continue on that tradition of taxing those companies that are here to just strip our profits, and I want to make sure that our that our workers have equal rights here and have a fair and transparent job description when they get hired. And I want to make sure that they have a fair workers' compensation system here that's going to protect our workers with sure and certain relief if and when they do get disabled or hurt. I also want to make sure that there is real training, real education for those that get hurt on the job and can no longer perform their former task, our careers in North Dakota. We have to build up another fund. I want to start another fund in the Senate to help injured workers and our injured veterans that are possibly can't pay their bills, can't pay their medical bills, can't pay their heating bills or phone bills, can't put gas in their cars. Same thing with our veterans. It's going to be a fund there that's going to help keep everybody protecting their social status when they're denied Social Security benefits. So many people right now are being denied Social Security money, and there's a lot of money with 48 million Americans being out of work right now. There's money that's not being paid into the Social Security system, even though our stock market is seeing record numbers. But a lot of people that I've talked to, economic experts, say that a lot of the companies are actually buying back their own stock, and that's what's making the stock market look really great, is because they're buying their stocks back right now, which is a good time when they can get it that at a discount. Also, I'd like to see our students have safe schools to go to. Right now we have most of our schools, when they're in school, they're under lockdown, under armed guard. We don't really want school teachers to have to carry weapons in classrooms, because they're there to teach, and they shouldn't have to excuse me, they shouldn't have to live under fear of being gunned down by a student. These are things that were never heard of when I was a kid, going to school. We want our kids to grow up in a safe environment and give them the same opportunities that we had growing up, but we want to give them more than what we had. That would be our legacy. Hold on one second, please. Thank you. Yeah, that's what we call bettering our civilization, is leaving our children better off than we were left. But a lot of the economic experts are saying that my generation is not going to be left better off than the generation before my generation, my parents' generation. We have to make opportunities for ourselves right now. I even believe that there should be a lot of funding for small business startups, for those that can't find jobs, are those that have been eliminated from the jobs, as far as being blacklisted possibly by a upset employer, because in my state, the employers, they give a lot more authority and credence to than they do the average everyday worker. And I think that's got to stop. We have to give the worker as much authority as the employer. We have to give them as much rights for a job, for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, pursuit of property. And that's something that we have to fight for, is some justice. And along with that comes education. We have to give everybody a good education and good job training when they come to North Dakota. They get harmed, they deserve to be compensated and taken care of for the sake of their families and themselves, and we'll see to that. We're making efforts and changing the system, and we're trying to correct it from any corruption, anything that any impropriety at all that could be a government slush fund. I've been saying for years, workers' comp, they brag about how many people that don't get injured on the job. They have less than 1% injuries, and their whole mission is no injuries on the job. Well, then why do they have $1.8 billion in their trust fund? They just don't pay the injured worker. They had some doctors a while back went to the FBI. North Dakota turned our workers' compensation administration in because they were told by the North Dakota workers' compensation administrators to cook the books, telling doctors to cook the records so they don't have to make these people their injuries don't look as severe as they actually are. So workers' comp could cut their benefits or not pay them. This has been an ongoing theme in North Dakota since about the 1990s. Before in North Dakota, workers' compensation was a non-profit trust fund for injured workers. Well, in 1992, many individuals that took over workers' comp decided to make it a for-profit insurance corporation, which claims it has no legal connection to our government, while North Dakota, the government here, makes you buy workers' compensation insurance if you're an employer, although they don't give the workers the right to choose who's going to be their employer unless they pay over and above to like Aflac or something. That's what saved a friend of mine. He had Aflac that when workers' comp cut him out in 3 months, Aflac picked him up for another year and a half when he sustained a shoulder injury at work. So I'm just saying, if anybody wants to work in North Dakota and they're doing physical labor, I would recommend getting Aflac or getting some other insurance to protect you when your workers' comp or unemployment runs out, which it will, because I've seen it run out. I've been there injured, and I've lost time and money, and you name it, houses, homes, and all kinds of stuff over the years because of injuries. And well, now we want to make sure we protect you. That's why I propose here today that we're going to have another fund coming out of the Senate. I'm going to work to get that for North Dakota for injured workers and injured veterans, and it'll be a fund to help you get a real education, real training in the real world, get you housing, medical coverage, and sure and certain relief to make sure you will not be denied when you're in need. Your heating bill will get paid, your mortgages will get paid. We're going to make sure we get something that's going to either put workers' comp out of commission or just be something that'll be there to compete with workers' compensation in North Dakota to protect the injured workers. And that's one of the things that I am proposing from my state, because I have children that are working here. I told them I'd never work in North Dakota in my life, if I had the chance to do it all over again. Because if you get injured, they're going to throw you away and just tell you you're on your own. Once your benefits run out, you're kind of SOL, And this one state you don't want to get injured in is North Dakota. If I was in Minnesota, be a whole different ball game. The times I got injured, I'd have got my education and training I wouldn't have had to pay for on my own, which I did. I wouldn't get my education and training wouldn't be covered for North Dakota workers' comp. Nobody would cover it for me, so I went ahead and educated myself on my own dime and on my own time, which I recommend anybody do if they're ever put in a situation in life that so many of us have been put in, once you've lost your job or got injured on the job. But that's one thing I want to do tonight is make a proposal to where we're going to have another alternative program that's going to be there in competition with North Dakota's workers' compensation. It'll be mandated through the United States Congress, and hopefully we'll have a pilot program here in North Dakota that'll be ran through my legislation, Michael J. Steele. I've been working on this plan for over 30 years, and I've been paying attention to some disabled people here in North Dakota got injured on the job. We have 38 deaths every year in North Dakota from injured workers getting injured on the job that goes unannounced. Nobody knows about it. It's just basically kept out of the media, kept out of the papers. So those people should have a memorial, a plaque made for them in honor of them losing their lives on the job. And that's something I would want to propose tonight too. A memorial for North Dakota's injured workers.
And also, we need some funding for their families, that protect them if they do get, if they die in the job. We need some kind of some insurance there for their families also. So I'm just proposing that Congress is going to take care of this, and I know we can get this passed once we get Mitch McConnell. Hopefully he's not the majority leader anymore in the Senate. Hopefully he'll go back into the minority, and hopefully Democrats will take the Senate and keep the momentum going and make North Dakota blue in 2022, because I know a lot of young people out there are looking for change. I know a lot of people are suffering, and there's so much more good that we can do in North Dakota. We've accomplished a lot, but a lot of the accomplishments here, in my eyes, I've been here 43 years now, is a lot of it's been on the backs of the working class poor. We want to give everybody a living wage. This state, the Republicans here very upset me. They didn't even raise the darn minimum wage. It's still $7.50 an hour. They couldn't do that. Well, other states throughout the country are $15 an hour. It's just ridiculous. It's just keep the poor down. We don't want to do that anymore. We want to. There's too many progressives out there, too many good Democrats that don't want that to happen anymore. We've been making a lot of strides and inroads, and there's been a lot of participation here. And we've got a lot of good things that Byron Dorgan did for our educational system and our colleges, created a lot of opportunities, but I think we need to keep those opportunities here. And our people that are educated here in North Dakota deserve the right to stay here and not have to leave to find a job or to find something in their own career. But also we have to have something as far as our SBA. We have to loosen up the funding there too, to where more people can start a home-based business, or such as myself. I'm self-employed. I'm an owner of a small business. I sell art, antiques, and vintage collectibles, and I've had a pretty successful run, in doing that. But I did that on my own, with just a small $200 I started with, and I've had a pretty good business for 3 years, and I'm doing rather well, and hopefully that continues. But I think everybody deserves opportunities here in North Dakota, especially our injured workers, those with families, and those that want to work, and provide. And I know there's some people that just prefer to be homeless, I'm sorry to say, that like it that way, and they just have no headaches, no bills. They're just free spirits, and they just want to live. They want to live homeless. They want to live a life in shelters, and that's how they live, And we can't force anybody to get out of poverty or out of shelters. That's just those that want to get out. And I hate going into many of the shelters in North Dakota, and people the last few years have been denied. Last year we had one of our worst winters in North Dakota, and 1,800 people were denied housing at Churches United in Minnesota, and that's a big homeless shelter, We have a lot of the Catholic nuns that are building facilities, have been building housing with some land. They donated some money, which is phenomenal, to help our homeless community here in the Fargo-Moorhead area in North Dakota. But I know a lot of our shelters in North Dakota have been lacking funding and resources for our homeless people and our homeless veterans. And I think we can do a better job at getting some funding for that and helping people. And I don't like it when our local churches stop letting the homeless sleep in, like a lot of states, and we used to do it in Fargo-Moorhead. We'd let our people sleep in churches that were homeless so they could stay out of 35, 40 below weather and not freeze to death like a popsicle. But now a lot of the churches quit doing that, because I don't know if there's people are going in there drinking, or if they're urinating on the floors, or are creating havoc with our churches, or breaking stuff. I don't know, But I wish when they deny them, they should come out, or maybe they should hire security guards in the churches that take care of disciplinary problems like that, when you have people that are probably coming in and creating a ruckus in these overflow centers here that we were having in North Dakota for our homeless. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that I know we can do locally, and I know there's a lot of funding that comes in federally, and I'd like to get that funding to you, the American people, and the workers, and so we can have a brighter future, you know. Joe Biden's starting out right. He's hiring a good cabinet, not based on pay to play, and not based on nepotism. He's basing it on merit, and that's a great thing, you know. So I think we're in good shape, and I just want to end today on a positive note that we, the American people, did a great thing. We stopped an authoritarian fascist dictator running it like a Nazi, this Trump administration, and we hired Joe Biden, and we made America safer again. And America's always been great. You know, we've always had a great democratic republic, which we protected, and 80 million of us did it. We stuck together. We got the job done, and I have faith in America, and I have faith in you. And thank you for your time, and God bless America.